Welcome to First Impressions, the podcast where we talk about our love for who, Maggie?
Jane Austen.
And our love for Maggie. And give a big middle finger to all
Maggie.
the haters. And we're back. We're back with another episode. We are doing a long-awaited movie commentary track for episode 5 of the Pride and Prejudice miniseries starring Colin Firth and Jennifer Ehle. We did the first 4 episodes many years ago, it feels like.
Kristen, how many emails do we get from people asking us, did I miss it? Did you guys not finish it? It's like once a month or something like that. Someone's emailing us, asking us about it.
Yeah. And it makes me feel really bad too, because it doesn't make a ton of sense to not finish them. But Maggie and I were saving them for when we could be together. And since I'm, across the country, we don't get together that often. Then COVID hit. And then we were like, well, that's
basically it. I got married. That was the last time we saw each other. Was at my wedding, I think.
Yeah. And I think
was Jasna after that? Jasna might have been that same year. I can't remember. But yeah.
No, Jasna was 2019.
That's when I got married, Kristen.
No.
Yeah. 2020 is like a year that didn't exist. It's a time vortex.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was only a few months after you got married, right? Because you got married in like April or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then by the time October rolled around, we were in Williamsburg together, and we didn't do it then either, because obviously that was crazy. And so we were just like, things are crazy. Maggie's got, obligations, and I'm crazy with work. And we're like, this is so easy. Why aren't we just doing these? So we are trying a setup where we can be over Zoom, but both watching on our respective computers, and hopefully it'll work out.
I agree.
I know. Well, I guess I don't have anything funny or charming to say. It's a weeknight. It's a school night. So all I have is tea, but that's not true of Maggie.
So we are, so I am enjoying some, like in the old days of our podcast, I'll talk about the wine I'm drinking. I am having the Kirkland, AKA Costco brand Chardonnay tonight. I'm not usually a Chardonnay person, but they were out of Sauvignon Blanc, and, needs must. So we're with the Chardonnay. It's okay. It's actually a little spicy for a white. I'd say It's almost like a red in disguise. It's like a naked red. It's not bad. I prefer the Sauvignon Blanc, but I've already had a glass, so this is going to be fun.
Like the detailed breakdown of the Kirkland brand wine.
I will tell you, Kirkland brand's actually some of my favorite wines. What they do is they actually find a really good winery and just buy everything that they produce.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I listened to a podcast or something sometime where they said that Kirkland is actually the number one wine buyer. Costco is the number one wine buyer in the world.
Oh, wow.
And so the head of wine purchasing for Costco is the most powerful person in the wine industry. And I thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
That is just interesting.
So anyway, we're starting with episode 5 of Pride and Prejudice.
You don't want to talk about Costco some more?
No, that's fine.
Yes.
So how should we play this? Do you want to do like a 3, 2, 1 shoot? Like shoot is play?
Yeah. And so for those of you who don't remember, who doesn't remember, honestly, but maybe we have some 2005 fans out there. So at the end of episode 4, what has just happened is, if I'm not mistaken, Lizzie has gone to Pemberley. Darcy has discovered her there. They've had a few awkward interactions. And then episode 4 ends with her driving away in a carriage and looking back at him. And so she's still in Lambton. She's still in Derbyshire. And who knows what will happen next. I told Kevin, I was like, I have to rewatch it so I remember exactly what happens. Which is funny for those who don't know, because I've seen this movie like 100 times. So anyway, yeah. So is there anything else we should say before we get started?
I don't think so. I mean, I think everybody knows. So what we're basically doing is we're doing a commentary track. So if you wanted to queue up your version of the miniseries and watch along, you could. But I have a funny feeling that most of our listeners probably know it as well as we do and can know what's happening just from our commentary.
I'm sure they do.
And they probably don't even need to watch it.
Yeah.
Oh no, mine just started. Okay. Oops, got to back up.
Okay.
I moved my screen and it was like, oh, we're starting. 3, 2, 1, go.
It makes me so happy to see the embroidery, to see the font on their names. We should figure out what this font is and only use it because it's just the font of happiness. David Bamber,
Crispin Courier New,
Adrian Lucas, Benjamin Whitrow.
Didn't we talk about back in years ago about how this beginning though is like can be very off-putting for our argument that Jane Austen is not just romance and for girls kind of thing because it's all like bonnets and silk and embroidery.
Certainly it has a domesticity, but it also has like a prettiness, which is like over the top with the pink silk and the kind of soft camera.
I think that the pink silk actually represents vagina.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Yes. This work has been praised as highly vaginal.
Yeah. By Georgia Oakey.
Here we are at the Bull. Speaking of sexual imagery.
If you please, ma'am. Oh, bless her. I actually really like her. I hope that she's gone on to have a good career in acting. Because this, what's her name? Lizzie or something? No, what's the
Hannah, right?
Hannah actually makes quite an impression in the few scenes she's in.
Yeah, she's so cute. And when he says she's a good girl,
look at that tall drink of water.
Kristen. Oh my God, he's so tall. You can totally tell when he stands up. He's like, it's just mind blowing how tall he is.
I think we talked about this, how he like unfolds himself from chairs.
Yes, he does.
And there's Thea Georgiana.
They're so cute how they're dressed similar in a similar color palette.
Oh, that is 100% on purpose. I promise.
I'm sure. Yes. And I just love this Spencer of Lizzie's, the light blue Spencer she has. She doesn't wear it that often.
Right. But Georgiana is in the like very rich version of that outfit, right?
I don't know. I'm not very good at discerning details, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did put more like detail on Georgiana's and have to look at it closer. Oh,
I think that you can tell by looking that hers is nicer, finer made.
It's got a little print on it. See, I'm watching the 4K UHD amazingly enhanced version, and you can see detail you never saw before in this one. It blew my mind. This came out in 2020. I didn't know it had come out, and I just like stumbled upon it. I was like, what, a new remastered version. And it looks incredible.
Look at you, little rich girl.
Oh, it's on BritBox. Do you have BritBox?
No, I don't. I'm on Amazon Prime.
I see.
I see this actress who plays Georgiana all the time.
Do you?
Pops up in random stuff.
And everything?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my God, it's Georgiana.
I know. I'm like, oh, dear Georgiana. Every time I
You sound just like her. That's such a good impression. Oh my God.
Bless Bingley.
Now Bingley's here, and I thought it was Bay. I thought he was coming into the room saying, making a comment. But no, Bingley has come in and said hello.
He's so happy here.
So happy.
Jovial.
Everything is good, excellent.
It's not like, I don't know. I don't want to say that the miniseries suffers when they're not all together, because they aren't all together for a good portion of it. But when they are all together, I don't know. Crispin Bodum Carter just has really good energy.
It's just electric. He does have great energy. And he's so, I don't know, he's such a sweetheart. And his eyes are so blue in the remastered version, by the way. But he's so cute here when he remembers the exact date, 26th of November. You know, the Austen community online, too, is so good about knowing these dates. It'll be November 26th, since I will have totally forgotten this whole scene. And someone posts, like, it's the day of the Netherfield Ball. Oh, now Georgiana is going to make the request.
I love my brother and I. I love how she says that.
Yeah, me too.
She's got that like Princess Diana eyes where she like looks down and looks up at you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is when she sings the song.
I know. Well, so she's answering.
It's coming.
I love this line. I can answer. We have no fixed engagements. Like, yeah, what the hell are we doing? It's not like I have to send out a doodle poll.
Oh, okay. So she starts playing and he just gets that little smile. I think I wore out my first VHS.
Oh my God. Rewinding the scene.
And of course I had this song as my wedding processional.
Yes. I started crying. It was a surprise for me.
It was for you guys. It was for the bridesmaids.
Yeah. Maggie told me, she's like, you're going to lose your shit. And I was like, what possible song could make me lose my shit? And then this beautiful Mozart that Lizzie sings. It's my happy place. This scene is my happy place.
It was not the version from the
movie.
Yeah, I think we actually used the Italian version from the opera, but I thought it was really pretty.
It's such a recognizable melody. I knew what it was right away. And like it's like I was saying that this scene, like you were saying, you rewind it, you replay it. It is my happy place. I also sometimes I just watch the beginning of episode 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get this like 15 minutes of like pure happiness when she's at Pemberley. No assholes are around except for the Bingleys, and they're not in the Bingley girls, and they're not in it that much.
I just love the shot of him when he's looking at her and she's singing. It's just so like, he loves her.
Now Lizzie and Georgiana are about to look over the piano at him. He is never wrong.
What are you
he is never wrong. Yeah, I know that like very like, am I in trouble? Like kind of look. It's so sexy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. And romance novels always involve this too, but like being nice to a sibling or child or relative of the love of your life is just like the most romantic thing in some situations. It's like in
Persuasion, right?
Yeah, right. When he takes the
kids are crawling all over her and Wentworth comes over and he like knows that she needs rescuing and distracts the children.
No, Caroline's being a bitch.
Oh, she's such a bitch.
She's being
that must have been a great loss for your family.
Oh, and then Darcy's like, he knows. And he just does that little look like, oh my God,
I would have just done an outtake where I was like, fuck off, bitch.
I know, right? I love the way they did it where her keys hit the note on the piano and she has to go back because it's a well done dramatic moment in the book. Obviously that doesn't happen. And in both situations, Caroline doesn't know that she's occasioning pain to Georgiana.
Right. Because they've kept it such a secret. Nobody, and then she looks.
So Darcy can't even be like,
at each other,
oh my God.
They're looking at
the
each other.
Camera, the soft focus, that's just his eyes, just his face, his whole outfit. But that look, that angelic hair, that angelic hair, it frames his face. It's a dark cloud and he's just so sexy.
No, I'm laughing because I agree. The beginning of this episode is just like perfection.
It's so good. It's like, this is heaven. This could be every day. Lizzie, what'd you do?
And he walks through the house at night. I mean, we're not at that part yet, but when he walks through the house at night with the candelabra, just to go back to the room where she was.
Love that he stays, that they drive away and Georgiana and Bingley are like, whatever. And he's like watching them drive away.
And now the Bingley sisters are trying to talk shit about her and he just shuts it down.
I don't like this scene though. I think he's over the top.
Really? I think he's great.
This is one scene that I think that he gets a little too emphatic in. That
I disagree.
It's kind of rude.
I think that Mr. Hurst is hysterical.
Oh no, it's just pantaloon. It's just like full crotch shot. He's like, did what the fuck is that guy's name? Did he know that they were going to just like a full?
Yeah, I bet he was like, yes, it'll be hilarious.
Rupert Vansittart.
Is that really his name?
Vansittart is his last name. I don't know if I get his first name.
Rupert, of course, he looks like a Rupert.
And he's no Rupert Giles altogether. The self-sufficiency without fashion, which I find intolerable. And then Bingley's like, well, I think. I think, you're just going to freight train over me like you're on Kristen's podcast and you're Kristen.
This must be what it's like for my brother and my family.
And it's so annoying when people have these like jokes they repeat over and over and it's like, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah. Bitch, read the room.
No. Yeah. Like read the room. Like why is she so bad at reading the room? If she's so into him, why can't she tell that he's getting pissed off?
I don't know.
It just proves that she might want his money, but she doesn't love him. She's not in tune with him. Lizzie would have seen it all. Lizzie is an emotionally intelligent person.
Okay, so now he's walking through the portrait gallery with a single candle. The song is playing again on the soundtrack. With
the dogs. Flute. He's with the dogs.
Those dogs probably pee all over that house.
The beautiful ceiling and the portraits, and there he is in the room again. He's going to set his candle on the mantelpiece and just...
It's so romantic.
And as a viewer, we just see this and we're like, we're so happy. He's in love and good things are about to happen.
The only thing I don't like is when they do the freeze frame coming up of her, like where he's looking at the piano and then we actually cut to her looking at him and we didn't need that. We know what he's remembering.
She should have just jumped and been frozen in the air. Now we're getting dressed and he's being finicky. He's about to be finicky.
One.
No. The green one. Yes, that'll do.
Are you sure you want to wear those stripes there, buddy?
The stripy boy. He's got the stripy waistcoat. And so now he's galloping with all speed.
Well, I hope that nobody is watching this while we're doing our commentary, because it's probably going to be really annoying that we keep narrating.
I know. Happening. I can't, like, one of them I was like watching and you were like, say something. I was like, I'm watching the movie. Like, I don't know how you could watch it with us nattering on. I'm just so excited to talk about it and be watching it again.
I think most people are probably just listening to this at work or whatever. Do you think
he was going to see Lizzie, or did he stop at a very fine tree on the smithy?
No, 100% he was going to propose to her. That's why he was so finicky about what he was going to wear.
Yeah, no, but he might have gone to the horse chestnut tree.
Is it in season?
Fall? It's fall. Fall is when the conquerors are in season.
Okay.
I don't love this orange Spencer. This is my only drawback to this scene.
I think it looks great.
I just wish it wasn't such an earth tone. I think she looks great in jewel tones, and it's not my favorite Spencer of hers. I know all her outfits. This is
one of her most iconic outfits of the series, actually. Maybe because they did a lot of promotional shoots with her wearing this.
Yeah, that's true. Why did they
isn't this what she's wearing at Pemberley when she goes to visit?
Yes, and she's wearing it in the final scene when he proposes as well.
Yeah, that's why it feels like very iconic to me.
Okay, now Jane's letters have been misdirected, and she's narrating her first letter.
She wrote the address very ill
indeed.
Sometimes when I'm writing an email to someone, I will think like, what if something really dramatic happened right now? And then I'd have to go, oh, dearest Kristen, since writing the above, something of the most alarming nature has occurred.
Oh, wow. I know. I was just going to say, sometimes do lines and cadences of lines from this movie just pop into your head. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden you're like, very ill indeed. Yes, this happens to me all the time.
No, that is 100% right. A lot of the line readings in this almost feel like music.
Yeah. Yes, you've heard
like
it so many
my
times.
Brother and I. That's another one
where
I think of that line all the time.
Yeah.
They're roused from their beds, Kristen.
Oh, how exciting. Mr. Bennett's got his nightcap on.
Would he answer his own door at night?
Well, if someone was banging on it that hard, I don't know. I think you might, because you'd be like, what the heck is going on? Even Mrs. Bennett's like, are we to be murdered in our beds?
Yeah.
So if you were the man
Bennett
of the
totally
house,
reads Gothic novels, by the way.
Oh, totally. Well, you know that then she chastises Lydia and Kitty. What are you reading, girls? I like Jane's nightdress has the full on sleeves with like the
Kitty's
belt.
Looking very sexy too.
Yeah. Everybody's very sexy. That's a very sexy nighttime scene. Yeah. And now Lizzie's like, Jane, you're always hoping for the best, but I wish I could believe it.
Yeah.
Because
I'm like Lizzie. I'm like, well, we're fucked.
Yeah.
And then I love how this is hard acting where she has to talk to the letter.
Oh, it's hard. Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And now we have to cut to her thinking about whether Wickham might have loved Lydia.
Yeah, this is hard. This is internal monologue stuff that she's having to do exterior, and that's really hard.
They even had to add a faked flashback, which is not really what happens.
Yeah,
well, like if you go back and watch that scene.
About it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
So what I like about that, though, is we've already established basically at the halfway point that Lizzie knows that she's an unreliable like memory.
She realized she's the Emma, even though Emma doesn't exist in her world, right? In her timeline. But she realized that she saw everything wonky. And now as she's looking back, she can't even trust her own memory. She's like, wait, were Wickham and Lydia having a thing? And I just was too, oblivious to even realize that, as well as the fact that Darcy's a guy and I was being a jerk.
They have surely not gone to Scotland.
Yeah. She was then but 15 years old.
That's fucked up.
She hears
Darcy swearing so much. I swear in front of that baby and it's not good.
It's so hard. I have friends with kids and I'm so bad. I just swear in front of them all the time. And
I know my brother's always yelling at me for swearing in front of my nephews, but what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Where are my aunt and uncle?
There's Hannah. She's so excited. Look, she's so excited to introduce Mr. Darcy. Look, you have an exciting visitor.
He looks so good. Get out.
I always rewound and rewatched this scene because his concern for her health was always so sexy to me.
Yes, he's like, go fetch a whiskey.
Such a sexy moment when he sits down, he thinks, okay, she's ill. I have license to grasp her hand.
Yeah.
He's like, you are not well then. I'll call a doctor. And like just takes her hand. And it's so sexy. He's like, wants to be with her, wants to touch her, wants to hold her. I don't know. You just feel the energy between them.
He's so sweet once he like just gives himself permission to love her, basically.
Yeah, true. You look very ill, which is always a laugh line. Yeah.
Women always love to hear that.
It's coming from his concern, but yeah, she even has him. She's like, oh, no, nothing's the matter with me. And then the fist to the hand where you can see his pinky ring. And he looks so
do you think that's like a signet of some kind?
Yeah, his signet ring. Yeah. His eyes look so good with this color scheme and this wood paneling and everything.
I think that's his high school class ring, actually.
He bought it from Jergens.
Yeah.
What is that company called? Jansen or whatever? Jostens.
Yes.
Anyway. Of Mr.
Oh, this is Wickham. So good.
The way she says eloped. Mr. Wickham. And the word eloped.
Power. Mr. Wickham.
Well, it's interesting when she says, you know him too well to doubt the rest.
Yeah.
Darcy almost reacts as though his attention is being called back to him by something. And then when he stands up and starts walking again, he's so tall and it is so sexy.
I feel so bad for her because she totally misunderstands the situation. He leaves because he's like, I got to do something. And she's like, he left because I'm toxic now.
Yeah. But it's this Regency like rules in society, man.
Yeah. He's grieved. And
that's the subtext. Society, man. He's grieved, shocked. Certainly not gone to Scotland. I love how he's like wrapping out questions too. He's just so in control. He's like, I'm here. I'm taking control. Give me the details.
I mean, he looks like he's in control, but in his head, he's like totally losing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is a helpful context for the viewer. Like we got most of it from the letters, but she kind of places it in, like more of a context for us.
I have not the smallest hope.
Yeah.
Our whole family will be involved in her ruin and disgrace.
Yeah.
Must partake of her ruin and disgrace. That's what it is. Oh, he's like, what do you say? What do you say after that? You can't contradict it, right?
Oh.
So time for me to make. What's that?
I said, apparently you just leave.
Yeah. Apparently you're just like, yeah, sucks for you. All right. Bye.
Bye. And no, because he's going to help. He's already thinking like, okay, who do I need to write letters to? But here's the thing. Imagine how helpless you felt when things like this happened back then.
I can't even imagine. I mean, these whole last two episodes are but just about how the women are completely helpless where things happen off screen, just like in Mansfield Park with Fanny, right? Yeah. And now she has to ask, can you please lie for me?
Yeah.
Like, can you please just don't tell anyone? Make an excuse. And
well, she also knows that they can't hide it for very long.
I know. Yeah. But just even having to ask like the man that you love, like to hide your disgrace must be so incredibly wrenching. And she keeps her shit together too. The way she says goodbye. It's so heartbreaking. Oh, that last look, last look. And then the ending chords of the score. And that's when you got to get your rewind button going and watch it all
looks
again.
At her before he shuts the door.
Yeah, the way he looks at her, and that you just wait for that one last look, then you hit the rewind button. And now we have to hear theories about this. So this scene was not in the original television version in the US.
Really?
Yeah. And so it was like a funny Easter egg to discover it, where they're like talking about, Wickham wouldn't do this. Why would he do this? There's no inducement. Why would he risk, his job? And she's like, I would be capable of believe him capable of risking anything, you know?
But that's because the Aunt Gardner doesn't know like the relationships between people.
Right. In fact, we just had that scene where she's like, this behavior towards, Darcy is not consistent with our dear friend Wickham or whatever. They've heard that story about the miniature and the housekeeper saying he's gone very wild.
Yeah.
Come out very wild. And this scene wasn't either. Him listening to Georgiana play back at Pemberley that night.
I think I've fallen a little bit behind you because I kept having like buffering issues.
Oh, no. Okay. Let me pause it for...
I'm at 2014.
Okay, I'm at 2025. So let me...
Okay, give me a couple seconds to catch
10
up.
seconds. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
Okay, I'm at 25. Oh my God, Mr. Hurst again. It's so great. Just passed out.
Complete crush.
Oh, I do remember that this wasn't in the US version. And I remember watching it when I got it on VHS and being like, oh my God.
It's unnecessary for him to be short with Caroline. And it also takes away some of the urgency of your belief about he's urgently going to solve the issue, right? Because he's just back at Pemberley.
Again, like, but there's a lot of things that you just can't do. Like you write your letters and then when you do, sit there and wait.
Yeah, no, I know. But from a dramatic perspective, I love this hat, love this scarf, love this little neckerchief. I love watching this scene where she just takes off all her traveling garb because everything is beautiful. Okay.
I like it when she hugs Jane and the sound of her like wrapping all of it around Jane meets with Jane going like, oh, because she's so relieved to see her.
It's beautifully done. Oh, I just noticed her little reticule. Look at her beautiful, like teal green.
The sleeve on Jane's little jacket is so beautiful. I've never noticed it before.
And then the little white neckerchief wraparound thing that Lizzie has to take off. I just love it.
Those beautiful white tits.
Thanks, Maggie. The historical costumers in our audience were for once getting some content that they could relate to. And now it's been crassly...
I have to stay on brand.
Oh, she blames these Forsters.
Do you notice how she's got purple on?
Yes.
She's like on her throne. They're all attending to her and she's got her like royal colors.
Before. I've never made that connection before. Oh, yes. This is like
this whole like monologue is basically like the Mrs. Bennet money shot kind of thing.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's her big scene. Did you notice that at one point in this movie, he calls her Fanny? They made up a first name for her and he calls her Fanny.
Isn't it in this scene? He's like, calm yourself, Fanny. Or
no, he
like
says, sister, calm yourself. It's actually when the Gardners arrive for Christmas. And she says, but I never complain. And he says, that's the best way to go about it, Fanny.
Oh, yeah. She would be a Fanny, wouldn't she? It's just so funny to me. Like everyone is perplexed. Like, why does she think that Mr. Bennet will try to fight? I do like her little apothecary box next to her on the table with all her smelling salts and concoctions. It's such a nice set dressing detail.
It's really nice. I'm sure they did historical research into it too.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine growing up with her as a teenager? Ugh.
Really cannot. And you can see it in Jane and Lizzie's faces in that scene too. And they're just like, please, anything to make it end. And now we get a shot of Darcy in the carriage with the little
looks like
castle. Shit. He's got a team of 4, right? He's the
but he looks really bad. It looks like he hasn't slept. He looks bad, bleary-eyed.
Yeah.
It's
the
good.
Breakfast table.
It's good silent acting. That's a lot of food for breakfast.
I know, it always seems like the hugest spread for breakfast. And it always makes me hungry.
I know.
I mean, how do you do anything after a meal that hearty? You just want to go back to bed.
That's probably what they did. I mean, didn't they eat breakfast very late?
I don't know. Oh, Kitty, thank you for the potatoes. She's feeling hard done by because she's tainted by Lydia's disgrace because they think she was holding information back. from
Well, she
them.
also phrases it as, I haven't done anything naughty and I don't see how Lydia has. And everyone's like, what is the matter with you?
Yeah, that is actually really messed up. Therefore.
Thank you, Mary.
She's like sermonizing during all of this nonsense. I don't know. Without her, though, they were
had in mind for Mary's future.
Yeah, I think I've read that she said something about Mary's future, like she marries the clerk. Oh, wait, no, that's Mary. I think Mary gets with the clerk of her uncle Phillips, and Kitty gets with the clergyman or something near Pemberley.
Well, not all clergymen are bad.
Yeah, there could be a Tilney
Austen verse. They tend to be ridiculous.
There's a Tilney in the bunch. Forget about the Tilney.
Mr. Tilney. All right, Jane, spill the tea. What have I not heard yet?
Well, you haven't seen me in a while, so first of all, my bangs look fabulous.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Those curls.
I'm ready to hear what you think of my bangs.
It's interesting because I read a lot where they were like, well, Jane is supposed to be so beautiful. Like Lizzie is more attractive in this than Jane. But I mean, I can't remember her name. I mean, I've seen her in other
Susanna
things.
Harker.
Yes, but she looks like she stepped out of a painting from that time.
Really does. And I mean, I think she's beautiful too, but no, I hear you. I think she does look just like a Regency painting.
I think that Jennifer Ehle is stunning, but I think she's more like modern day.
She grows on you too. I feel like Jennifer Ehle grows on you. So I know when I first watched this movie, I was like, why did they cast the prettier girl as the older sister? Because honestly, I thought Susanna Harker was better looking the first time I saw it. And I was like, she's so beautiful. Why didn't she get to be the main character? Because I didn't know anything about the book.
Yeah.
Also, that's not the way I feel about them now. I kind of just feel like they're equally beautiful and wonderful. But at the time, I guess my head was turned by that blonde hair.
Well, every time I see Jennifer Ehle, I freak out. Oh, like when she was in The King's Speech and she and Colin Firth had a scene together, I was freaking out. And my brother was like, what? I'm like, you don't understand. This is the first time they've been on screen together since Pride and Prejudice. And he was like, what?
We didn't talk, by the way, about the scene that just happened, which is a cut to Lydia and Wickham eloping, and the work that Lydia's, the actress whose the last name I can't pronounce, Julia Sawa. The laugh she does when he like kisses her and like pushes her back in the carriage, it's so wanton and sort of lascivious. It's just so great. Almost said slutty, but I don't want to slut shame Lydia. But it's just very excited to be having sex. I'm so excited. I'm about to get to have sex. That's what it is.
I love this scene too with Lizzie and Jane, where she's talking about the letter and she's really mad, and Jane is like, "You're being unkind."
Oh yeah,
Jane is just always nice.
I love them together too, because it's this fiction of who we're told to be, which is Jane, and who we have to be because we can't help ourselves, which is Lizzie. It always seemed like reality colliding up against the rules of good behavior and Christianity and morality, and this clash between them, especially in that scene of like, you have to be nice. And she's like, no, everything sucks. And
well, I just appreciate that Jane actually is just nice. It's so hard to make, this is cheesy, where she looks in the mirror and sees the memory of him. But like, it's so hard to be that nice and not have it seem fake.
Is she really nice? Or has she just been twisted to believe she has to be nice?
No, she's nice, Kristen.
But no one's that nice. No one's like, I'm sure she means well, even though she's being a heinous bitch.
Well, then she comes back and she's like, I get what you were saying. You were talking about how our reputations are ruined too. Do you think that hadn't occurred to her?
I don't like this scene because I don't think it's realistic to suggest that had not occurred to Jane.
Yeah.
Because it would have had to have, right? But I don't know. Maybe she's just too good and pure. She's not thinking about herself. She's only thinking about Lydia,
I guess. Whereas I'm the opposite. And after something tragic happens, then I'm like, God, I'm such a jerk because all I'm thinking about is the impact this has on me.
I know. No, I hear you. She looks like an angel. Susanna Harker with her hair down in the scene looks like a complete picture of, I don't know, an angel.
Yeah. The only other thing that I really remember, I mean, I know I've seen her in other things, but I really remember her is from the House of Cards miniseries, the British miniseries. She's in that. She's very good in that.
Now
that was
we're having
definitely
girl
before
talk.
this. I think that was like early 90s.
Oh. Yeah. We're having girl talk, and Lizzie is saying
she's regretful that Mr. Darcy is probably out of her life forever.
Advances to me. I'm sorry, it's hard because I am listening to the audio, and so I'm trying to say things, but like also I have input from the audio, so I can't say things and listen at the same time, I guess. I don't know what he was 2 days ago. She felt it. She was like, they were about to come together, get engaged at Pemberley. It was going to be so joyous. We were going to have our happy, happy
Jane,
ending.
you should have seen his house. That place was crazy.
I know, right? I love this very, very short barkeep. What's that?
Do you remember MTV Cribs?
Yeah.
What if you did like MTV Cribs Pemberley?
This is where the magic happens in the music room.
And it's just Darcy giving a tour of Pemberley to the camera. That was a great show.
I never liked it. I never watched it. I just know about the phrase, this is where the magic happens. And it's obligatory every time you go into their bedroom.
Yeah.
Ah, Mr. Collins.
This is where the magic happens once a week if you're lucky and you have a date.
Just show someone in the bathroom and be like, this is where the magic
This is where the magic happens 3 times a day.
Oh, this is so crass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
Oh, it's so good though. Okay, so Mr. Collins is here to
Kitty runs away in the most inspired bit of like screenwriting ever. She's like she runs away first of all, which is hilarious. Then she's looking in the window, which is hilarious.
Okay, but this is when we're like hashtag we're all Kitty.
Yeah,
she's like, I'm not going in there.
She like grabs her little skirt and does her little duck run.
I'm not going to go sit in there. Crazy.
And the best thing is you can totally see Mary is just taking in every word and is completely on his wavelength. Yes,
I love this scene too, because they're all sitting in a row on that like triple chair couch thing.
3 Regency sisters, 3 beautiful
and how
white.
Lizzie's about to effing lose it. And Jane like gently puts her hand on hers and is like, hold it together,
death
girl.
Of your sister would have
been Jane's thinking unnice things.
I love the move where they both stand up to and they're like, okay, it's time for you to go. We're going to signal that by standing
up. Look at Jane's face. She knows.
Yeah, I like Jane in this scene because she acknowledges that what he's saying is repulsive. She's not pulling a Mary and like, yes, I agree with what you're saying. She's trying to use the bounds of good, polite society to get him out.
Yeah, and you're right, how their eyes flick to each other right before they stand up. Oh,
yeah. And Jane puts her hand on Lizzie. Yeah, there's Kitty through the window. Now Lizzie has this inspired idea, like, if we're so toxic, why are you here?
Yeah.
And there are these brilliant moments of like, let me turn your rhetoric back on you. That are the reason we love Lizzie so much. Perhaps
don't you think you should leave?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I didn't think about that.
And she's going to seal the deal by mentioning Catherine de Bourgh. Lady Catherine de Bourgh.
A clergyman cannot be too careful, Kristen.
So true. And I mean, when he says the death of your sister would have been a blessing.
Oh my God, I would have lost it. I would have slapped his nasty face. Even Mary is like, GTFO, buddy.
No, she thinks it's very kind of him to come and condole. And again, Jane, I suppose he means well. Lizzie's here to tell us the real truth, which is you suppose wrongly. Yeah. He's here to triumph over us. Just like I said about Lady Lucas. Go ahead.
And I do like the reprise of the Mr. Collins theme on Bassoon, but it's like a few steps down. It's like the sad minor, like Jewish version.
Oh, I never noticed that before, but you are so right.
They always makes fun of me, like when there's a minor key song. I'm like, I'm Jewish for those who aren't listening. I'm like, oh, it's a Jewish song because all of our music is in a minor key.
Mrs. Phillips's bonnet is on fleek, frankly.
So Mrs. Phillips is the actual sister of Mrs. Bennet and Mr. Gardner, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we know if Mr. Bennet has any siblings?
Yes. His brother is Mr. Collins's father, I think.
Right. But he's dead.
And they were always at variance, right? They were always fighting. So he hated his brother. There. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. Can't even imagine. With the younger brother.
Mrs. Phillips must have some money. Look at her. She looks great.
She looks fantastic. I mean, she's not supposed to be that wealthy. I mean, she just lives in Meryton, but the way they costumed her. No, she's Uncle Phillips is a lawyer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why they're saying Mary gets married to his clerk or whatever.
Right. No, I know he's a lawyer, but okay. Her husband is a lawyer also. And okay, I'm just trying to get all the relationships right. What is it that Mr. Gardner does? He's in trade or something?
Yeah, he's in trade and he lives in Cheapside, if you didn't hear.
In Cheapside.
Oh, here all of Mr. Wickham's intrigues are being honored with the title of seduction. I love the way she says seductions. Oh, there's Lydia singing that song that's like the clock song. You know what
You're
I'm
ahead of
about.
Me again a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me pause it.
I'm at 36:20.
Oh, okay. Wow. I'm way ahead of you.
How'd you get that far ahead of me?
I don't know. I'll count.
Mine now it's buffering again. So I'm still at 36:20.
Oh no. Okay. Break time. Break it down.
I hope no one's trying to watch this while we are, because it's a mess.
I know, because it's going to drive them absolutely crazy.
It's all right.
Yeah. What can you do?
So do you think he's writing letters to all his creditors asking them for more time? Oh, nice stirrup pants, by the way.
I know. Yeah, I know. Look at the stirrup pants.
Wickham is styling in the 80s, 1880. What?
I'm not going to say it, but you know that's wrong, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Closer to the 1780s.
Yeah. All right. Are you still buffering?
No, I'm back. Sorry. She just said plays and assemblies.
Oh, okay. Now I'm way behind you.
Do you want me to pause it?
No, let me go forward.
Okay. She's playing with his hair and he's pouring wine. And
that's exactly where I am now.
You need to shut up.
Yes. I have a funny picture of them in this attitude where she's playing with his hair and he's looking like not that happy or impressed. And
listen, you made this decision, buddy.
I know. And it says, what the fuck did I do? Or something like the meme of it is so funny.
So has she just been rocking the same outfit for like 4 days, basically?
They had a continuity issue, really, with the outfits because they appeared dressed in the same attitude multiple times.
And she does the smelling salts and it like freaks out. Okay, but look at his baller travel cloak. He looks great. He looks like he should be in Bleak House. Speaking of Bleak House, Lizzie Bennett's in Bleak House. The actress who plays Lizzie in
Death Comes to Pemberley. Yeah, just one of many Lizzie Bennetts.
She makes the rounds because she's also in North and South. She's in like every period drama, basically.
Yeah, that's right. She's Bessie Higgins.
Or as I like to say, Bessie Higgins.
I'm really excited to talk about North and South with you.
I love that song. Oh my God, Richard Armitage. I did actually wear out my DVD.
Oh, you're so funny.
I think it's like I can't remember if it's a 2 DVD set or one, but like towards the end of one of them, it just stops working.
Oh, Mrs. Young. Are you there? Did he just force his way inside?
Yes. No, she just went, when they opened the door and saw him there. Look, he has to duck to get in the doorway.
I know. He's just that. Well, he's also wearing that hat. Or I guess he takes it off. I don't know.
No, he's wearing it when he goes in.
He is wearing it when it goes in. Okay. I just saw it, so I don't know why I'm confused about what happened.
Oh God, they must be so bored.
I know they're live. The problem with these last 2 episodes is they feel so airless because we just keep cutting back to them
doing nothing
at their house and being stressed out and worried. And it's the same with Fanny in Portsmouth, right? It's just like they're completely powerless.
Yeah. And it's like, hey, Andrew Davies, I don't need to see my life reflected on the screen.
I mean, that's why he had to cut in so many exciting scenes of Darcy walking around London, giving pennies to young beggar children and trying to find them in a very heroic manner.
Right.
I love this scene where Mr. Bennett says it's been my own doing and I ought to feel it.
Yeah, you were a shitty dad.
Yeah, and of course, as soon as someone says, "Oh no, I suck," everyone's like, "No, you don't," when they actually totally do. And he's like, "No, I actually totally do. But it's fine. I'll get over it."
Guess what, Kitty? You're never going anywhere again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. She's so dumb. But she starts to cry at the end of his monologue.
I actually think the actress who plays Kitty is very good.
Oh, she's very good, but she makes the character seem very dumb at the end.
Well, Kitty is dumb, right?
Yeah. I bear you no ill will.
He just looks like a puppy dog.
I never realized this for the longest time, but it's a compliment to himself when he says, "I bear you no ill will for your advice to me last May, for being justified in your advice to me." Which shows some greatness of mind, I think. I always thought he meant she had greatness of mind, but no, he's saying, I don't bear you any ill will for being right, which means I have greatness of mind.
Well, a lot of people would nobody likes to have an "I told you so," right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what he's saying, but I just didn't get it for so long. And it's so funny. It makes the scene even funnier.
Well, he still has that kind of sardonic.
Oh, if I should go to Brighton. See, again, read the room.
Oh my God, girl. If I should go to Brighton, I would behave better than Lydia. And everyone's like, what? Girl, you'll be lucky if we let you out of the cupboard underneath the stairs.
I love how he proclaims officers
no
allowed to
officers.
pass through the village.
Oh. Balls are prohibited. I wonder if Jane would defend this or not.
I mean, he's such a, I know she has to because she's a dutiful daughter, right? But he's just such a monster. He knows she's crying and he's like I don't know. He sees the funny side of it. He doesn't see the human side of it, but she's just so dumb. He can't. So I don't know.
You're like, oh God. I don't know. Maybe Kitty needs this type of firm hand.
Maybe she just needs to be made hardcore fun of. No, that hasn't worked so far.
Yeah, that's true. Calling her one of the silliest girls in all of England. God, that hat is just insane.
I know.
His stovepipe hat or whatever it's called. This is amazing. This is riveting scene of Darcy looking for an address.
Oh, I know.
This is like me driving down the street where my GPS is like, your destination is on your left. And I'm like, it is.
I love that scene too, because when Wickham is talking, his breath moves the candle, which kind of makes him seem even more boozy. Yeah. There's so much alcohol in his
he just blows on it and it's like like you're holding an aerosol can. And here comes the post.
Hill with the post. She's so nice. How much
these special messengers cost to send.
I really like the scene too, where he takes the letter and says thank you and puts it down. So she sees that he puts it down and seems unconcerned. It's like such a dumb facade. She knows what it is. She's like running out to tell the girls, and they don't even say thank you. They just, do you notice this? She's like, "Did you hear an express come?"
I like the scene where they have the letter and run, and Lizzie has to hold her boobs down because that's real. I think this is one of the few scenes you can tell that Susanna Harker's pregnant.
Oh yeah,
when they're running, it's fairly obvious.
Yeah.
Did you know an express come?
They just say, "When did it come?" And she's like, "Oh, half an hour ago." And then they just start running. It's not even like, "Thanks."
Well, we're finally getting some action, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, she does have to hold under her boobs. That's the way I used to have to run too. Sad.
Needs to get one of those she-fit bras.
Yeah. Hey, they're not paying us a dime, so please do not advertise she-fit.
Okay, but they're really good.
Okay.
You have to understand, Kristen, I am now like, what is after a triple D? What is that, an E? Yeah, that's what pregnancy has done to me. They're huge. They have to be strapped down.
I know.
And they're all out of breath because like they never run anywhere. Look at his little cute straw hat.
I know. His little buckle shoes with the heel.
I do like his, I don't know what you call it, his like coat or robe kind of thing. I don't know. Mr. Bennett always looks great. Okay, they found them. They're not married.
It is as I always hoped. They are married. They're not married.
They are not married.
I love the line, nor can I find there was any hope of being so, any plan of being so or whatever. Because it's like, look, these kids were living in sin. I mean,
a safety pin.
Yeah. Saying Cleveland rocks. I love this. You will easily comprehend Mr. Wickham's circumstances are not so bad as they're generally believed to be. It's like, will he easily comprehend that? Or do you, you just know he wants to believe it?
I'm surprised nobody's like broken his kneecaps yet.
That is a really good point. How is he getting away with all this nonsense?
I don't know. He just moves
from place to place. Yes.
Yeah. He's like, well,
fleeing his pressing depths of honor.
I owe everybody here money, so I guess it's time to move on.
Probably time to be moving out.
He basically is just, it just makes me think of like the Music Man, how he's a traveling salesman. And once he fleeces everybody in the town, he just goes to the next town.
Yeah. I love this scene too, in that Lizzie is so shrewd. She finishes the letter and she's like, something does not add up.
Yeah. How is it so little? Why is he satisfied with so little? And then he understands someone's paid a lot of money.
Yeah. He thinks the uncle.
Why would they think their uncle is rich enough to do that though?
Well, he might actually have had enough money. He would just like not have any left for his kids, right? Like, I mean, he's in trade. He probably
just seems weird because it's like the letter basically is like, this is all. Why would he keep it a secret? Yeah. And then he's like, how am I ever going to repay him? Like, he didn't even tell you how much he paid. It was, Right. Well, he's like, everybody is so good with money in a way back then because they all know exactly what things cost and exactly how much stuff earns. Yeah. And so he's like, well, Wickham's a fool if he takes him with a farthing less than 10,000 pounds because he just has done all the math. And he's like, well, somebody coughed up 10,000 pounds. The only person it could possibly be is your uncle, right? Yeah. He's shrewd with like knowing that, but not shrewd enough to put money away to care for his family. No, very true. Well, as we hear in a later monologue, they were going to have a son. I mean, which is something you accomplished effortlessly. So you triumphing over Mrs. Bennett. I can't remember exactly, but I'm fairly certain that at some point immediately after giving birth, I looked at Bay and I was like, I've given you a son or something stupid. Just to be a jerk. You have the air. You're right. Rupert Vansittart. I was right, Mr. Hearst. Yes. It's funny though, like we laugh about that. Oh, that's the end of the episode. Oh, it stopped on his face. He's so cute. We laugh about it, but like Bayard is the last of his branch of the Johnsons. I felt a lot of pressure. Oh, really? Yeah, I did. Like we thought we were actually going to have a girl just because everybody we knew was having boys. And so it seemed like, of course, we would have a girl. But it's like you do, even now, there's like this societal pressure to have sons. Well, at least the name Johnson won't be fading from the earth. Yeah. Wait, I guess I should take that out. Do we say Bayard's last name on this program? I mean, I don't think he cares. Okay. I will take it out. But yeah, his name won't fade from the earth. I promise. I promise you that. So, but yeah. The name Johnson will be sung throughout history. Now I have to take it out again. Sorry. I really don't think he cares. He uses his full name on his podcast.
Yeah. Oh, does he?
Yes, he does.
Do you want to plug his podcast on this podcast?
Yeah, I should plug his podcast. So, gentle listeners, we're making it a family business. And I've probably mentioned it before, but Bay, who has appeared on our podcast as a guest before, has his own podcast. It's called Doctor Who's That Podcast. And he's never seen any Doctor Who, and one of his good friends is a Doctor Who expert. So they are starting from the very beginning of the show, from like the 1950s, or is it? Yeah, 1950s. And they're watching everything that's available one episode at a time. I should say, not every episode of the podcast is one episode of the show. They do like the stories and arcs. Anyway, they're still in the first Doctor, I think.
Oh, wow.
The first Doctor stuck around a lot longer than I thought he did. But anyway, it's called Doctor Who's That Podcast, and you should listen to it if you like listening to awkward geeks. But we know that they do because they like listening to us.
Yeah, pretty clearly. They have some tolerance for geekiness.
Yeah. I guest hosted a couple times on their podcast as well. I think those are the best episodes, personally.
They're the ones I would start with, frankly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny because not to toot my own horn or anything, but the guy who created and runs and is in charge of the podcast, he said that whenever I'm on an episode, his sister messages him, and she never messages him for like any of the other episodes. And she's like, "Get me Maggie's Facebook. I want to be friends with her."
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry.
I was
shared
laughing. An awkward story.
I know. I was laughing. And then I was like, wait, I'm on mute. She's going to think I'm not laughing at her funny story.
Well, then I said the story and I was like, oh my God, that story must have made me sound like a total asshole.
When another Zoom victim, pandemic claims another Zoom victim. Actually, that was in really bad taste. I didn't mean to make a pandemic joke. As we know, people actually are dying. But I just meant the circumstance of the pandemic.
Yes. Another funny social victim. We'll say
due to being muted. Yeah, I have to explain the shit I say a lot these days.
I think we're all there.
There's no filter. I don't hear what I say until it comes out. So
that's okay.
So, but yeah.
So anyway, you guys should listen to that podcast, especially if you like Doctor Who.
That was this was really fun to do. I will check out that podcast and those episodes. And this was really fun to do. But actually, I'm really sweaty. This is a really hard one.
Really?
I felt very keyed up, and I had to be talking the whole time and think of funny things to say. And I had a lot of things to say, but then I was like, Kristen, Maggie's trying to say things. You can't always be saying things. So there was a lot to manage. Mentally, there was a lot to manage after a full day of working as a high-powered librarian. So
I'm back at work now. I've been back at work for almost 2 months. I think it's more 6 weeks or 7 weeks. And I'm so happy to be back at work. But my brain is fried by the end of the day. When I was on maternity leave, my brain was fried for the complete opposite reason, where I have to be so emotionally present. And now I'm obviously still emotionally present for my child, but during the day when he's at daycare, I again have to be professionally and intellectually present. And it's just very different and just as tiring.
Yeah. Why is life so tiring?
I don't know.
Man, I'm beat.
And what's it for? We need a new an existential podcast.
Kevin and I,
First Impressions, where we talk about our love of Jane Austen and existential dread.
What's it all for? So there's this show. It's called Mr. Show. That's the name of the show. No, I'm thinking of something else. Okay. My husband, Kevin, is a fan of sketch comedy shows, and he loves the show called The Birthday Boys, which a lot of actors are on it who you'd recognize now because they've since gotten big. But this was when the show was very small and indie. But Bob Odenkirk is on it and is a producer on it. So there's this one sketch that we talk about all the time, and we laugh and laugh. But it's in a sort of like a Reindeer Games financial office where they're all like really stressed out and working. And they're like, sir, we're not going to have our numbers ready for the next quarter or whatever. And he's like, God damn it. And he's like throwing a fit. And he's like, what are we going to do? And they're like, well, sir, we've run the numbers and we're pretty sure that there's no afterlife. And then it cuts back to Bob Odenkirk, who's now wearing a sombrero and drinking tequila. And he says, well, all right. And then they just start having this massive party. They just started like having the most debauched hedonistic party in the office and not care. Anyway, we say sometimes to each other, like, well, I've run the number and there's no afterlife. So yeah, which just, I don't know if that represents his real beliefs. Hopefully I didn't shock anybody. It's just a stupid sketch comedy show, but yeah.
But you have to wonder about stuff like that. Like,
oh my God.
I'm just like, so much of what we do, you know, like you work so that you can support yourself and your family and be able to survive and hopefully have some fun along the way. But we spend so much time of our lives working.
No, we really do. Sorry, I always feel weird about these conversations on mic because I feel like you might accidentally offend somebody. I don't know.
Someone who has very, like, say,
there are lots of
closely held religious beliefs about the after. Well, I mean, hopefully people understand that not everyone believes the same thing. And let's, like, they call it faith because it's faith. We don't know.
Right. Wow. Lot to think about.
Join us next time when we will discuss what happens when you die.
I think next time we're either going to do episode 6 or we might be able to have our North and South podcast. So
that would be so fun.
Yes, we're going to talk about the miniseries North and South. I have also read the book. We are going to have an amazing guest
you've read the book?
Yes, I have.
Look at you. Our
guest who's going to come on actually is the person who got me to read the book because I was on Twitter one day and I was following a thread about like that somebody had tweeted, what's the best line in North and South? And she tweeted this line out and it was so good. I was like, damn, maybe I better read North and South. And it was, he is my first olive. You must allow me to make a face while I swallow it or something like that. And obviously no sexual undertones, but it was good enough. And then she said that. And then there was another sexy one, which I forget, but I was like, damn, maybe I should read this book. And I did. And it was really good, but I lacked a lot of context, historical context. Yeah. I was like asking questions on the Twitter, like, what does this mean? And so I have since purchased an annotated version and I'm going to try to do a little bit of homework so that
what would you say is the ratio of romance to labor, politics, and disputes in the novel?
There's more labor politics in the novel, but I will say the romance is really hot. It's like way hotter than Jane Austen romance.
Yeah.
As far as being very explicitly sexy in the language chosen.
I will confess that when I watch North and South sometime, now that I've seen it so many times, I tend to fast forward through the.
Oh yeah. Of course you do. I don't care. I mean, yeah. You know what, Kevin watched it with me and he loved it, but he loved it for the labor content. Same. He was a Mr. Bates Thornton shipper. Every scene with those two, he couldn't stop talking about how good it was. He's like, these two, I can't stop smiling. That's an actual quote. He's like, I can't stop smiling.
He loves the bromance. That's his favorite.
He loves the grudging
respect that the men have for each other.
That's right. Nicholas Higgins and Mr. Thornton. And he was all excited to see Mr. Bates, the same actor from Downton Abbey. And he just got really, really into it. And I don't think he cared at all about the romance. So,
oh, bless your little heart, Kevin.
I know.
And of course, the character's name is Margaret.
Margaret. You know, I have a lot of feelings about that story.
Well, I hope it works out and we get to talk about it. We've teased it so much now.
Yeah, I know. I hope it works. I'm sure it will work out sooner or later. sooner, sometime within the next 6 months. Let's just do that. I feel comfortable with that promise. Okay. We will be having a North or South episode.
Okay, look for that coming near you in 5 months.
Yeah. Keep your eye out. I mean, sorry for those of us who are like keeping an eye out for episodes. I think, I was going to ask you, Maggie, I was going to ask you, do you want to still do the podcast? I mean,
Yeah.
And I think we've never taken a dime from anybody, even as a gift or a Patreon or anything, which is the only thing making me not stressed when we don't put an episode out, because it's no one feels like they're not getting what they, paid for in a sense.
This podcast is entirely a labor of love by Kristen, who spends hours and hours and hours of her time editing and doing it. And I am along for the ride as long as you are, Kristen.
Oh, that's so wonderful. I'm so excited to hear that, because it's so much fun. I also spend hours and hours with weird anxiety because it's out there. And I'm like, what if someone doxes me? And then I'm like, why would anyone care who you are? And then I'm like, well, I also talked about my Callista Hunter author stuff, and I don't want my professional friends to know that I do that. And it's not really that good. And honestly, I wrote a lot of it a long time ago. And I don't know, some of it is
I think you should be, first of all, you should be proud of the podcast and your books.
Oh, thank you.
And you know what? who cares? I'm too old. Just put it out there.
I know. What if I wrote something really objectionable though in the book and I didn't realize that I did? But what if it could be taken the wrong way and I didn't realize, or, I don't know.
I think that you're fine. I honestly, there's some people who maybe need to worry about that stuff, but I wouldn't worry about that. I think if most people found out you were a published author, that they would just think that's rad.
Self-published.
Self-published author. They think that's rad.
That's rad, right? I wrote a book with more than you've written, most people.
Yeah, no, seriously. Do you know, just even finishing something like that is an incredible accomplishment.
Sometimes I just think about logging in and just taking it all down and just never talking about it again.
No. That would make me so sad.
And it's not that I need it to be read. I don't care if anyone reads it. I'm just worried, what if it could bite me in the butt somehow?
I really don't see how it could. I think it's just something to be proud of. It would make me really sad if you took it down. So maybe when you're having those anxious thoughts, you could remember that you want to bring joy to your friends.
Oh, that's right. And there are a lot of people who helped me, and obviously the audiobook. I would never and could never take that work down as well, because that's her work as well.
No, it's amazing. Don't ever worry about it. It's fantastic and it's amazing. You should be proud.
Thank you for the pep
This is
talk.
like that scene in Wonder Woman where she's on the platform at the train station and she has the ice cream and she looks at the guy and she goes, "You should be proud," because he made ice cream.
Oh, I don't remember that scene.
You don't remember that scene?
No.
Oh my gosh. So it's the first time she's ever had ice cream.
Oh, wow.
She's on the train platform, going off to Belgium or whatever for the war. They're going to the front. He hands her an ice cream cone. She takes a lick and she's like, "Oh my gosh." And she looks at the guy who sold it to them and she just goes, "You should be very proud." Because he's brought such joy to people. That's how I feel. You should be proud.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'll be proud.
Don't you dare touch this podcast. Don't you dare touch those books. You're a treasure.
Oh, thank you.
As per usual, this podcast has devolved into Kristen and I's therapy
pep talk, just getting through life somehow. I mean, girl, what would I do without you if I didn't have you?
That's true. Girl, you know it's true.
Are you going to sing something for us?
I love you.
I love you too.
Aww.
I know you sang it to me, but I'm saying it to you.
Okay, well, thank you. And we love all our listeners who have hung in
Yes,
there. I don't know how much of this is going to make the final cut.
All of it.
It's 45 minutes of actual episode.
Just talking about telling each other how amazing we are.
This episode ends up an hour and a half long, and it's mostly us just giving each other pep talks.
I know. Well, we've just waited so long. I mean, I just feel like it has been a while. And so I'm just delighted to talk to you, my friend, and just be here with you and be present with you. But I will let you go. I know it's late where you are and I have to go eat dinner.
Oh, yes, please.
But we keep an eye out, everybody, for
We'll be back soon. We still have episode 6 to do. Hopefully there's North and South content coming. And we also have our regularly scheduled podcast content. I'm sure heading your way soon.
I'm sure.
Yes, absolutely. We promise. Okay, Kristen, I love you. What do we say?
We have delighted you long enough.
Bye.
Bye.